Hey guys, we are going to share with you our review of the Boma Breakfast Buffet. It is probably our favorite meal on property for value.
Not probably, it is.
For me, there's a close second, which is California Girls Brunch, but that's very expensive, whereas Boma, to me, for Disney prices, is reasonably priced. So let's start off right away with just a tour of the buffet here, and then we'll come back and give you our thoughts on it. They have oat grilled tomatoes, oat grilled asparagus, pap, which is kind of like a cornmeal, chakalaka, and baboti. Over here they've got African spiced corned beef hash, carved ham, some sauces, as well as African spiced corned beef. We've got oats and quinoa. They have bacon, sausage, tater tots, and fried plantains. They have scrambled eggs, eggs with spinach and goat cheese, biscuits and gravy. They've got some character waffles, pancakes, and M&M pancakes. They have a make-your-own omelet station with all kinds of toppings. They have some salad type items, fruit salads, fresh fruit. They have a yogurt bar here with toppings. They have salmon with the appropriate accompaniments, and also they have deli meats and cheese. They've got donuts, and then a wide range of pastries. And over here they've got bagels, and they've got croissants, and then also there's regular bread and a toaster on the end. Let's start talking first sort of in generalities about where to find it, how to get there, all that kind of stuff. So Boma is located in the Animal Kingdom Lodge Resort.
At Jambo House,
Jambo
right?
House.
So that's what's called Jambo House.
Yes. Yeah. And there are 2 bus stops there, so you want to get off at Jambo House if you take the bus to get there. So I think a lot of people think it's hard to get to because it's at, one of the resorts. But one tip we have, and yes, you will have to wait for the bus, and we can't tell you how long that is, but is to go to Animal Kingdom, then catch the bus, and that's only like a 5-minute bus ride. Now, you may have to wait a while to get the bus. That's the part you can't predict.
Most likely you won't, because those buses are just going back and forth 5 minutes.
Yeah, because it's such a short return trip.
And if you're going to drive there to eat, it's really, the parking's like right next to the building.
It's very easy. Very easy to get in and out of. So I think it's actually one of the easier ones to get to that's at a resort. And also, do you need to make an advanced dining reservation? I would make one before you show up, just to make sure they have availability. But this is not one of the ones that you have to snag right at 6 months. It usually doesn't book out. In fact, usually the week before you go, there'd be some availability. Right. There's no guarantee. And of course, if you're going during a peak period like Christmas or Easter, it may be fully booked. So definitely make your advanced reservation. But you don't have to worry about it at that 6-month mark.
It doesn't seem busy for the breakfast/brunch, but it definitely is busy in the evening.
Oh, absolutely.
For the dinner. So I would definitely give a ADR for the evening.
For the dinner.
Yep.
But even I definitely wouldn't make the trip all the way over there without having a reservation. Yeah. Because you can make it on the My Disney Experience app, so you can even do it while you're already at Disney World if you decide you want to add it. The other thing I wanted to mention is their hours. They're open from 7:30 to 11. This is for the breakfast. That sounds like brunch hours, and so you may hear us interchangeably call it a brunch because it also has brunch-like food, meaning some heavier meats and items that I think of as brunch food. So you can go early or you can go late. Our personal preference is to go late if we can. We like to go at, I think 10:55 is the last sitting, or it may be 10:50. And we love that and treat it as a lunch, like an early lunch, because by the time you get seated and go get your food, it's going to be close to 11:30 by the time you start eating, which to me is a fine lunch time.
And it's pretty open.
That's the other thing that's nice. It's pretty empty right there at the end, but the food is still fresh.
The food, they can still bring it out and stuff, so No difference there.
Yep, which is wonderful. But we've also been first thing when they open at 7:30,
Yep, we did
and that
on
was
this
also
last trip.
nice.
Yeah.
What I will say is when we left, it was getting close to 9, and it was packed. So the peak time seems to be the traditional mid-morning breakfast time. So I say go early or late if you'd like a more pleasant experience. The prices on the Disney site, as of the time of this recording, is for an adult $15 to $34.99. I can tell you right now, I've never seen it $15.
I wonder where that price comes from.
Ever. It's close to. It's usually about $30 when we go for each adult.
Which I think is well worth the food because it's different food. It's not your
typical fare, and it's plenty of hearty food, and that's why I like using it for lunch. Though I feel like it's a better value for lunch than for breakfast.
Yes.
For the price that you pay. So the way to get to it when you walk into Jambo House, it's not intuitive. You have to take a right to this bank of elevators and then go down 2 floors to the pool. It's basically the level the pool's on, and it's right across from Gico. So once you get off the bank of elevators, you'll see it. Yep. It's not hard to find at all.
And you'll smell it too.
You will smell
it smells really good.
It smells wonderful. Let's see. Is there anything else about the just overview? I think that's about it. So I thought, usually I do pros first and cons second, but I actually thought I would start with the cons because there's so little in the way of
cons. Are there cons?
Not really. As I mentioned, if you go during a really peak time, like if maybe that 9 a.m. time, there can be a slight line to get your food, but I'm not talking about a long line. I'm talking about you might have to wait 5 minutes to get like the carved meats, for example, because, those take a little longer since they carve them for you. Also, if you go during a busy time, and I think this applies to dinner much more than breakfast, but it can be noisy because everything in there is wood, and so there's no carpeting or anything to dampen the noise, and all the chairs are wood too. So when people scoot, their chairs in and out. And then, of course, you have children, screaming and stuff like that too. So it can be pretty loud in there, but only at the peak times. If you go at the off-peak hours that we mentioned, it's not that loud at all. So that's about all I can think of for anything negative.
Yeah,
because we love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
Pros? You want to talk about pros?
Wow, where to start? I mean, for a vegetarian, this is your place to eat. I mean, they got roasted tomatoes, roasted asparagus. They have, of course, the eggs with the goat cheese and spinach, smoked salmon if you eat the seafood. What else do they have? There's a lot.
Just a lot.
Plantains, roasted plantains. Oh, wow.
Potatoes. I mean, there's just a ton of food for vegetarians. And if you don't know this, Brian is a pescatarian. If you're new to our channel, he eats seafood and no other meat. And then I'm gluten-free if you're also new to our channel, and it's a wonderfully friendly place for gluten-free eating. They bring you a menu that lists everything on the buffet and whether it's gluten-free, and also for other allergens, not just gluten. But then also, if you want, upon request, a chef will take you through the buffet and show you what is gluten-free and what's not. And I highly recommend doing that because they tell you details. Like, for example, he told me the plantains are technically, should be gluten-free, but they're in a shared fryer with things that aren't gluten-free. So for me, that's a no-no. But if you're not as sensitive, you might want to know that because then you might eat it. Like if you're not hyper sensitive.
Those plantains were awesome too.
Yeah, I wish I couldn't have eaten those. And also, the other benefit of having the chef take you around is he offered to make me gluten-free Mickey waffles. Again, you wouldn't know that just by looking at the list. So I recommend asking for a chef if you have food allergies.
Definitely.
That sort of plays into one of my pros is just the service in general. From the front where you check in to the food servers to
everyone's
the
friendly,
people behind the line because
efficient.
They have like made to order omelets, so you talk with people behind the line. Everyone is so nice, so professional, so friendly, so helpful. I have yet to have any kind of bad cast member interaction there. They're just top notch.
We've been to Boma tons.
A lot, and we've never had bad service ever. And I can't say that about everywhere at Disney.
Yeah.
They definitely have an amazing crew there that's working. The other thing I want to mention is it's super clean. I
did mention it last trip. I said I didn't even notice any food like spilt over, the serve, on the bar.
They constantly clean the buffet, so it looks immaculate all the time.
And I never noticed them cleaning. It's like they're really stealthy about it.
They are. I've actually noticed them, but just because I was looking for it, and they purposely stay away from people so that they're not blocking you from getting food. They're very good about that. And they just keep everything. The dining room is clean. The plates are clean. Like sometimes on buffets, you pick up a plate and it's not clean, and everything has been super clean there. You want to talk about food quality? Just the overall food quality?
It's, I've never had a bad thing there. I mean, something as simple as roasted tomatoes, they just make it taste so good.
Well, they're fire roasted. They have that smoky flavor to them. Everything's warm that's supposed to be warm. It's cold if it's supposed to be cold.
Even the eggs, they're not dried out. You'd think from sitting on a bar, they'd be dried out. Nope.
Food is fantastic. Like, to me, that's a good example. The food is like, when people bring the food to you, it's that quality. Meaning it's not all dried out because it's on a buffet, or it's not lukewarm because it's on a buffet. Then Brian already touched on the variety. That was one of my other ones. They have a huge variety of food, both somewhat exotic. I mean, it depends on your standards of exotic, but somewhat exotic offerings, but also a ton of traditional breakfast. They
have regular stuff and then the African
sausage, sausage, eggs, bacon, made to order omelets, all your pastries and breads, and all your traditional stuff. But then they have like the plantains. They have the roasted tomatoes, roasted asparagus. They have something they call pap, which is basically like grits, but it's an African version. They have some roasted meats that sometimes have African spices.
You didn't get to try that, right? That's not gluten-free.
I think one of the items was gluten-free. I just didn't want it. Okay. I think there was a ham. If I remember, please don't quote me since I didn't get it. My memory's fuzzy, but you'll see it on the walkthrough that we put at the beginning of the video. And then one of them wasn't there because I think it was like corned beef or something that.
I'm actually kind of shocked that they don't have some kind of fish dish, because in the evening they do have salmon.
I think most people won't eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, I would.
But they do have smoked salmon there. He's just talking about a cooked fish.
So they have the smoked salmon and the natural stuff that goes with that for the bagels, which, I didn't get the bagel. I just like to eat the smoked salmon.
Well, and they also have yogurts and cheeses and fruits. I mean, it's expansive. It really is expansive. You won't go away hungry. And then I think that pretty much covers. Is there anything particular that stands out that you didn't mention already? I think those eggs are really good that have the goat cheese and either. And
we tried to recreate them here at home a couple times.
Not succeeded.
We just can't get it just right. We got close, but
they do some kind of magic there and make them really good. And I think a big highlight for me is the made to order omelet. They are always cooked perfect, meaning there's nothing runny in the middle. I don't like runny omelets, and it's also not dried out on the outside. It's like they're just masters with the omelet, and I like the customization of that.
Yeah. So if you haven't been to Boma, definitely go give it a shot. Because everyone that we've suggested it to, they've gone and loved it.
Yes. I don't think anyone has disliked it, and it's worth. Like I said, I don't even think you have to go that far out of your way, but it is worth the effort to leave the park and go there, because that's what we'll do. We'll go to Animal Kingdom in the morning and leave and go there for the late breakfast and then go back to Animal Kingdom, and totally worth it to us. So, as always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Until our next adventure.